Nefertiti got a makeover, Kylie had her baby, and Mathew Knowles says that if Beyonce wasn't light-skinned, that she wouldn't have the successful career that she has. Hey guys, Bernard here. Thank you once again for joining me. I know why you're here, because we're about to get into some pop talk. So, like I promised, I told you guys that when Kylie gives birth to that baby, that I will come back and let you know. So I'm delivering on my word, and here I am. On February 1st, Kylie Jenner gave birth to a baby girl. Now, she announced the birth of her child on Superbowl Sunday because, of course, everybody was online. You know, just the amount of viewership that she would get would be exponential. So she waited for the perfect opportunity. I mean, they're very calculated. Okay? So she put out a note to her fans about why she decided to stay private with her pregnancy. She wanted to take some time to really hone in the huge responsibility of being a mother. Now, again, I told you guys that they're very calculated, so if you want to buy that, I mean, you buy a lot of things that they sell, so maybe you can hold on to it. But I don't buy that story. Everything they do has a monetary purpose behind it. And as much as people are praising her and saying, oh, wow, that's great because, you know, they live their life so public and everything that they do, people want to see, so they show you. But the Kylie chose not to. And I do not believe that she just did it because she wanted to have privacy and really absorb the growing of her fetus. I don't believe it. But anyway, her and Travis Scott put out this 12-minute video on YouTube where they showed intimate details about her pregnancy through sonograms and just family time and things of that nature, and people reveled in it. They were very excited that she shared with that because, you know, she's got a lot of fans. They really do. You can't knock that. You can't take that away from them. They do have a huge following, and so people were very interested to see all the 9 months in 12 minutes. Now, they named the baby Stormi Webster. Now, if you've been following the story at all, because, you know, I'm not so much, because I told you guys last video that I'm not going to be doing a lot of Kardashian coverage, but it's a hot topic right now, so I'll just talk about it briefly. But she talked about wanting to be pregnant since the age of 15. Right now she's about 20. And, you know, that family does a lot of cultural appropriation. And I know for a fact that our community would have a hard time. And we would not let anybody slide if they came out publicly and said, I've been wanting to have a baby since I was 15. I mean, at 15, you're a teenager. Like, who's thinking about having a baby at 15? Now, of course, they have that show 16 and Pregnant, so I guess it's a thing. But, I mean, look at the flack we gave Keisha Napoleon when she had that baby with Ed Hartwell. Now, marriage dissolved and she got a baby out of it, but we were not easy on her. And she was a little broody. I mean, come on. She was a grown woman at the time when she had this baby, and people just didn't let her off the hook. Imagine little Yara Shahidi talking about she wanted to have a baby since she was 15. Her parents would lock her up and never let her out again. But you know what? Total different ways of parenting and raising their children. Yara Shahidi and Kylie Jenner are not even on the same wavelength by any means necessary. So, but I'm just making a point that if it were an African American girl, no one would think that was cute. No one would think that was cute. And they get away with a lot of things. A lot of things that they do that's just super absurd and outrageous. People think, oh my gosh, it's so cool. The other thing that I find interesting is all these different names that they're giving their kids. Of course, you know, their kids are probably going to follow their path. Maybe they won't. We don't know what children are going to grow up and do. But I'm shocked that they didn't keep it within the K's. All of these kids don't have K names, actually. They're just, and it's funny because their mom gave them regular names: Kim, Chloe, Kylie, Kendall. Those are, you know, standard names, but now they've got North, Saint, Stormi. Hey, and you know, with the name Stormi being in the public for a little while now with that whole Stormy Daniels woman coming out saying that she had relations with our president, Donald Trump. It doesn't seem like the right time to want to name your kid Stormy. But it's Stormy with an I and not with a Y, so I guess it's different. There we have it. Stormi Webster has arrived. And the other thing that arrived on the Today Show was a replica of Queen Nefertiti. Now, honey, I am giving you African royalty right now because I am so offended by that doggone statue that they unveiled on the Today Show. Savannah, Guthrie, and Hoda Kotb had John Gates on from Expedition Unknown, and they unveiled a new replica of Queen Nefertiti. It's supposedly an accurate depiction of King Tut's mother. But guess what? She lighter than me. That's not accurate, sir. Supposedly they did an expedition and all this stuff, and so it's the forensic scientists got it down to the T. They, sculpted the mummy just the way they found it. That's a lie. We know good and well that Queen Nefertiti, now let's be real, right? African people come in different shades and complexions. It's obvious, but baby, that Nefertiti is white. And we are not going to accept it, especially in Black History Month. Like, how dare you? The level of disrespect and also the reshaping of the culture, right? Because we're in a time right now where just the teachings about slavery and about African history is so tainted and whitewashed that our young children are growing up not knowing the truth. So we really got to work to preserve our own culture, because now you've got this generation that all of the information they get is from online, and they don't read anything, so they just see that and think, oh my gosh, that's what Queen Nefertiti looked like, and they keep it moving. And so they grow up with that notion, thinking that this stuff that they were taught is true, and it's not, because we're not the ones going on excavation trips and digging up artifacts and, replicating anything. We don't have access to the resources like that. It's other cultures that are going in and coming back and telling us what our story is, what our history is. And I find that to be a little unfair. What I did observe while I was watching the video is that Hoda Kotb, as that thing was coming up, she stepped back, she looked at it like, that don't seem right. And I think Hoda is from Egypt. Savannah, Guthrie was like, so how accurate is this depiction? And he was like, oh, it's very, very accurate. No, it's very, very inaccurate. But something that might be accurate is what Mathew Knowles is out here saying about Beyonce Knowles would not have the successful career that she has if she were darker skinned. Now, Mathew Knowles is Beyonce's dad, Beyonce and Solange's dad, and he's been known to talk a lot. He says some things that as a father, you're like, okay, you should have kept that to yourself. And I'm torn a little bit. I feel like, okay, so she's your daughter, she's got a successful career, you were able to eat off of it because you were their manager, so her being light-skinned benefited your pockets. But that's something that, even if it's an observation, just some things you observe and you keep to yourself, like, okay, I saw that, but I'm just gonna keep it to myself. And even if you felt like you needed to tell somebody, maybe you should have told your family, just close friends, I don't know, but you put it in a book and you're putting it out for the world to see. Now, in the book, he's also reflecting on his past growing up, being a Black man, and his family embedding it into him that he should date a white woman because they saw the white race as superior, and that would be the only way to kind of help you elevate in life. And so when he met Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, who's now his ex-wife, he actually thought that she was white because she's really, really light skinned. But he quickly realized that she's Black, and she totally embraces her Black heritage. But you know what? Even though he shouldn't be saying this out loud, he's got a point. I agree with him 100%. When even taking into consideration Destiny's Child as a group, who else that was a part of that group has a successful career, is on the same wavelength as Beyonce? None of them, and they're all darker skinned. Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams, LaToya Luckett, all of these girls. Now, I'm not going to diminish what they're doing because they do have successful careers as well. But when you talk about superstardom, None of them are on the same wavelength as her. None of them. None of them. And I can't think of any other artists right now, female, because unfortunately men don't have this issue. Like, the guys could be black, white, pink, purple, green, you know, their looks are not the focus essentially. But when it comes down to the women, I cannot pinpoint one person right now in the industry that is of darker skin, that's a female, that is a superstar. People are making an argument for SZA. She's new to the game. She's rising. Yes, superstar. No, not yet. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I would love for her career to be propelled to that level, but Mathew Knowles has a point. And maybe he should have not made it out loud, but I agree with him. And speaking of agreement, I told you guys that I would not be in agreement with the Super Bowl 52 and that I would not watch. So I didn't. But I have to admit that the television was on by default because my husband was not boycotting with me. He even invited a friend over and they watched. I was doing some work on the side, so my eyes did not land on that TV only until commercials came on, because of course I had to come and talk to you guys about the commercials. But the truth be told, the commercials were lackluster, and the only thing that I can really remember from the commercials were the Doritos commercial with Peter Dinklage and Morgan Freeman, and they did the whole fire and ice thing from Game of Thrones. Yeah, then they had the bear commercial that did the whole Game of Thrones thing too, and then they had the Ram commercial. Did make a little bit of buzz because their slogan was built to serve, and they used one of the speeches from Dr. Martin Luther King, and so people were not really happy about that. But I can't really. Tiffany Haddish was in the Groupon commercial, but I wasn't impressed. I really wasn't impressed by the commercials. I also wasn't impressed by Justin Timberlake's performance. Again, I didn't watch, but from what I heard, I wasn't even compelled to watch. I felt like, oh my gosh, the sound was really poor and I could barely hear him. And then he got a lot of backlash for doing that Prince tribute. Now, it's been reported and recorded that Prince was not a fan of Justin Timberlake, and so that's a big issue. And of course he was in Minneapolis and Prince is from there, and so they lit the city up in purple, which is great. But if somebody don't like you, I don't think they will be happy with you doing a tribute to them. Like, it negates the fact. It negates the whole purpose of it being a tribute, because I'm not really cool with you. I mean, he's dead, so he don't really have a say. But who's in charge of his estate? Because they didn't do him a solid. And then he also had these videos displayed in the background. And thing number two is that Prince was actually anti-holograms, and he referred to it as being demonic. So he wanted no parts of anybody. He didn't want to be involved in doing a hologram tribute to anybody, and he certainly didn't want anybody to do it of him. Now, it was not a hologram. It was actually videos of Prince playing in the background, but he was not, the performance, I wasn't interested. But one thing that was interesting and pretty funny that evening was Kevin Hart's behavior. Let me tell you something. He had one too many drinks. Okay, that man was around town acting crazy. Oh my gosh, he was entertainment as usual for the big game. When the Eagles won, because the Eagles won, and he's from Philadelphia, so he was all the way turned up, ran down onto the field. He was trying to go up on the podium with the trophy. I mean, Kevin, and he was denied, denied by the bouncers. It was very funny because he's so small, and the bouncers are like, oh, here. He just looked like a little boy just lost in a sea of grown men, and they were like, no, you cannot get in. But he also got kicked off of NFL TV because he got up there. He was so drunk, people. He was so drunk. He started cursing, and Deion Sanders just escorted him off like, you gotta go. He posted a video later saying that his wife told him, like, you should not do that. And he just listened. Now, you know the thing is, the Bible says that the wife is supposed to be the suitable helper, okay? And she was doing her job, but he did not listen. So, hey, you suffer the consequences after the fact. But he had a good time, and the Eagles won, so he's happy with it. At I told you guys in my last video that everybody will be down there having a good time. I saw pictures of Diddy, of Khaled, all these guys, all these people who were supposedly protesting with Colin Kaepernick, standing in solidarity with him because he still doesn't have a job. They were there, front and center, performing, having events, all this stuff. So I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I don't even know if I want this, but the Spice Girls are getting back together, and they were spotted out having lunch with their former manager, convincing Victoria Beckham to come back on board because, you know, they've been trying for a very long time to get her back on board so that they can go on tour, reunite, and finally it worked. So they're going back on tour, and they're each reportedly getting $12 million a pop. Now, Mel B certainly needs the money at this point in the game because she had that nasty divorce with her ex-husband, Stefan Bellavante, and she's reportedly also being booted off of America's Got Talent. And they want to replace her with, allegedly, this is what I've heard, they want to replace her with Queen Latifah. So during the time of her divorce, apparently she became very snappy and hard to work with, and that's understandable. I mean, she just was at a very difficult place in her life at the moment, and they don't want to work with her any further. So the tour is coming at a good time. She can get back out there with her girls and still make some money. So she's got a job, either way you slice it. And another person that stays working, even though I'm not a fan of her, and you guys probably aren't either, is Omarosa. She is going to be in the Big Brother house, added to the cast. It actually aired tonight, and I did not watch. As much as I love me some Ross, hey, Ross Matthews, I can't watch. I can't do it. I will not give Omarosa any more airtime. She does a very good job at reality TV. She worked in the White House, and that's being run like a reality show. And here she is back again in a place where she likes to be, on TV. And I just don't think that it's worth watching. I mean, I've never watched Big Brother anyway. I honestly don't even know the concept of it. Was never interested, and I'm certainly not going to give it any airtime now because she is on there. Now, she's getting a huge payday, upwards of over $1 million, and supposedly a talk show I won't watch, and I don't think you guys will watch either. I think they should give me the talk show job. I mean, seriously, y'all probably watch me more than y'all will watch Omarosa. That thing will flop. Who's watching that? She's trying to sell this little old story about her time in the White House. What is she going to tell us that we don't already know from reading Fire and Fury? There's really nothing else that we need to know. And it's all playing out in the news every day. So there's no inside information that she could really give us that when Trump tweets that he's not telling us on his own. And then, again, from reading the book Fire and Fury. So, you know what? I'm not interested in any thing that she has to do or say. Well, while we're on the topic of reality, I might as well just do a reality roundup and talk about little Miss Ramona from Housewives of New York. So Ramona, come on, Ramona. I mean, it's a little bit genius, right? But it's not honest. Okay, so Ramona had been having her assistant Bill Bravo for clothes that she bought to wear for the show, and also returning the clothes to the store and getting the money back. So she was getting double coins. I mean, girl, you're using your brain, right? Because that's smart, essentially, but it ain't honest, you little scammer. So she is in hot water for this. She's in hot water over Ramona. I haven't watched Housewives of New York in years because I've got to limit my intake of ratchet TV, and I only have room for two, and that's Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine. So everything else I just kind of skim through. But this season on Married to Medicine is so sad, and actually one of the couples ended their marriage. SImone and Cecil Whitmore are no longer married, and they were married for 21 years. They have 2 boys. One's off to college. They also have a high schooler, and 21 years, poof, be gone. Now, on the show this season, they have been highlighting that their marriage is in turmoil, but it seems like everybody on there, like that's the storyline right now. Everybody's marriage is in turmoil. Toya and Eugene are on rocks a little bit because they're not having intimacy. Quad and Dr. G are going through it. Oh my goodness, they are just like not on the same page at all. And then there's Dr. Jackie with Curtis, whose marriage infidelity played out in the public eye. He was spotted with a mystery woman going into a hotel. It was all over the blogs, and now we get to see how they're working to reconcile their marriage right now on this season. The problem with reality TV is it's produced a lot of divorces, actually even a suicide. Like one of the husbands from Housewives of Beverly Hills killed themselves, which is the level of pressure. Like it's one thing to just live your life on a daily basis and you go through the hiccups that life comes with and you kind of work it out in private, right? It's between you, your spouse, your family, your close friends maybe. So it's a small number of people. But once you have cameras rolling and people are in your business 24/7, it's a lot more difficult because then you've got the opinions that are coming in and everyone wants to tell you how you should do your life. And that's happening with Dr. Jackie. I mean, people are giving her advice left, right, and center about whether she should take Curtis back or not. And she's like, listen, I'm an adult and I will make the decision on whether I want to reunite with my husband or not. That's not open for anyone else to tell me how to do it. But unfortunately, people do feel very privy to your life's information because it's playing out on the TV. So I'm very saddened by that their marriage is dissolved, but you know what? It happens. It's kind of like the reality culture, unfortunately. Well, darlings, that's all the pop talk that I have for you today. I wanted to come back and update you guys because Fashion Week is getting ready to start, so I'll be super crazy running around to all the shows. I'll probably do a little bit of vlogging, and you should follow me on all my social media platforms so you can stay tuned to my stories on IG and Facebook to see the shows and the things that I'm doing around town, shopping on TV across the board. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, ding, so that you can get notifications when I post a new video. And of course, I'd like to hear your feedback and your opinions on all of these pop talk topics. So hit the like button, leave me a comment, share, all that good stuff. And until next time, darlings, ciao.